Dealing with rejection and failure can be one of the worst parts of job search. It can make even the most confident of us question our worth, our value. Do we need to lower our standards in jobs we're looking for? Will we ever land a new role? Or should we just forget the whole job search altogether? If you have been feeling this way, I want you to know you are not alone. It is an especially tough market right now. And no matter what, looking for a job does have an element of rejection in it. And so in today's training, I'm going to cover 3 steps that you can take in order to help the rejection work for you, not against you, so that you can actually find the right job for you and do it faster and more easily. But first, in case you're new to me, hello and welcome. I'm Kristen Zavo. I'm a certified career coach, and I've been helping high achievers just like you to land and thrive in their new roles for over a decade now. Before I started my coaching practice, I spent over 15 years in traditional corporate roles, including time in banking, consulting, finance, strategy, marketing, and customer experience. Now, you may have come across my best-selling book, Job Joy, Your Guide to Success, Meaning, and Happiness in Your Career, or you might have seen my work in publications like the Wall Street Journal, Fortune, Forbes Magazine, Real Simple, and more. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you'll be notified every time I post a new training on job search or career happiness in general. And be sure to stay until the end because I'm going to be sharing a bonus 4th tip as well as a mantra, a reminder that you can continually come back to in times of rejection or in times of self-doubt where you wonder if you should keep going and if this job is actually the dream job for you. The fact is that dealing with perceived failure, perceived rejection in a job search, and learning how to navigate it in a positive way is an essential piece of a successful search. And so here are 3 things to support you in positively and successfully handling rejection when it comes your way. The first step, perhaps unsurprisingly for those of you who know me, is around mindset. And that mindset is to realize that whenever you are working on a big goal, anything worthwhile, whether it is landing a new job, changing careers, launching a business or a side hustle, training for a marathon or some other sports competition, along the way, failures, rejections, hearing no, that is an essential part of the process. It actually shows you're on the right path. Just like I tell my clients all the time, every no is getting you closer to your yes. I know I promised you a mantra that's coming later, but this is another good one. Every no is getting me closer to my yes. And it can be really helpful to think back on some past achievements in your life. Maybe when you were applying to schools, or maybe when you got your first job, maybe you were training for some big event, and really thinking about the steps that got you there. More likely than not, you didn't succeed on the first shot, right? You had to try, you had to fall down, pick yourself back up. And what I'm willing to bet is that every time that happened, you got better, you got more determined, and you got to become more and more of the person who already had the goal achieved that you were going after. And so sometimes, right, it's nice to hear, a career coach, I'm telling you, keep the faith and every no gets you closer to your yes. But I want you to look back to tangible evidence in your own life to see that this is actually true, to remind yourself that any big goal that you accomplished in the past didn't just happen immediately, and there were bumps along the road that actually helped you to reach that goal ultimately. In other words, I want you to see that the perceived failure or rejection or no, I want you to decide and see how it is working for you. It is actually working in your benefit, giving you the time and the space to refine what you're looking for, to refine how you're positioning yourself, and really redirect and course direct so that you're getting closer not only to accomplishing the goal of landing a job, but that you're actually landing the right job for you. Which leads me to tip number 2, which is to see this rejection, this failure as feedback. It's feedback. It does not mean anything about who you are as a person. It does not mean anything about the value you bring or your worthiness as a human being or as an employee. Instead, it is feedback, feedback about, are these the right jobs I'm going after, right? If you're making a big career change, maybe we do an interim step in between. Are these the right jobs? Are these the right companies, right? Am I finding as I'm hearing back that I want to stay on this path or that I need to slightly revise the roles I'm going after? Also, it's feedback on how you're presenting yourself, how the work you've done on your personal brand and your resume and your online presence, how is that landing with the people who matter? Who matters? The people who are going to hire you, the decision makers, the people in your field. How is the way that you are positioning and presenting yourself? How is that landing with those people? And are there any edits or refinements that we can make so that it can be even more targeted? Maybe there's certain experience that you can flesh out or certain things to really de-emphasize. This way, every time you're hearing a no, it's not just feedback about the jobs you're going after, but feedback about how you're presenting yourself. And then finally, it's also feedback on who you're talking to. Who are the people you're networking with? Are they the decision makers? Are they the people who can see your value and understand it? And so, in this way, rejection is not just a no, and it doesn't say anything about you, but it gives you feedback on the direction you're going, how you're presenting yourself, and who you're talking to, such that you can have continuous improvement, continuous refinement to get even better, even more focused, and even better able to clearly show why you are the best fit for whatever job you're going after. So, in this way, the rejection is actually preparing you for the dream job. The rejection is preparing you for that easy yes in the future so that when you are sitting in front of the hiring manager talking about the job that is actually meant for you, that you are destined to have, you have had all this practice up to this point in really getting your message across in the most clear way, in the most confident way, in the way that you can share your story, but still show who you are authentically as a person, as a professional, and so on. So we've talked about mindset. We've talked about seeing rejection as feedback. And the third piece that I want to invite you to consider is to use the fact that job search, just like dating, right? It's full of rejection. Every job is not going to be the perfect job for you. To see that as a reminder or as fuel to really put in the effort and the consistency to have a proactive job search. Sometimes we're lucky, we put our feelers out there and jobs come to us, then we get excited about them, but we're not doing anything proactive. And so since you know that rejection is a part of job search, that rejection is part of the pathway to get the job, I want you to put yourself in a really powerful place of having lots of options, which means a proactive job search. You're not just waiting for jobs to come to you, you're finding the jobs, you're networking with people, you're connecting with people, you are learning about jobs before they're even posted. When you do that and you have multiple irons in the fire, it takes the power and the urgency away from one company to need to give you that role, right? And this is so important because the truth is, there is no job, there is no company, right? There is no person that should have all the power over you to make you happy in your career. No company, no role deserves that. And so, as a job seeker, it is your responsibility to be proactive and to have multiple irons in the fire so that when you do hear a no, it's not the end of the world. When you do hear a no, you know that you're talking to, 5 other companies that are really exciting and really interesting. And what I can tell you is not only does it make it easier to handle the rejection, but you will also show up to your networking conversations and your interviews more confident. And because you're showing up more confidently, right? Again, it's less likely that you're going to be rejected because they're going to feel the energy that you have options. They're not going to feel this needy, oh my God, this better work out, and I'll say anything I need to say in order to get the job, right? Energy can be felt. And so when you show up to an interview and you're confident, and of course you're prepared, and of course you do your best, but you know that if this doesn't work out, you've got 5 other options that you're talking to right now. That is going to allow you to show up in a more powerful way. And if and when you get rejected, to not take it so to heart. Couple other things you can do here is remind yourself of your accomplishments, make a list, make a brag box, remind yourself of all the wonderful things you've done to really build your confidence. And remember not to put all your self-worth, all your value into your job search. We shouldn't be putting that into our work anyway, right? And so when you are in a full-time job search, I highly recommend that you don't make your whole life about the search. You have a full life. You have other things that make you feel good, that make you feel confident, that remind you of who you are. Now, if confidence is an issue you're struggling with, I know job search can certainly bring that up. If you've been in a toxic environment, that can certainly bring it up. I'm teaching a class on career confidence that I think would be really helpful for you. It's a free masterclass. I'm going to put the information below. Depending on when you're watching this, you might be able to catch it live, or at the very least, watch the replay. But confidence and the energy you bring to any big goal, job search included, makes all the difference. Because it's not just what you say, but it's how you say it. And it's the additional action that you take when you're coming from a place of knowing your value, knowing your worth, and really showing up authentically and unapologetically. The fourth bonus tip that I told you about is all about getting support. You don't have to do this alone. Job search by its very nature can feel very lonely. It can feel very vulnerable. We get advice from well-meaning friends and family, but they just don't get it because they're not in it with us. And so it's so important to surround yourself with people who are doing the work with you, who are in the ring with you, for that accountability, ideally for a proven method that works, not just in the past, but works now, right? Having that community and having a place to really ask questions. And, ideally, if you can work with a career coach, that is wonderful. I have a program called Find Your Job Joy. This is my signature job search training program, as well as life coaching program. We cover all things related to job search, the tactical, the scripts, the interview prep, LinkedIn profiles, resumes, etc., negotiation. But we also cover the very human part, the confidence, the imposter syndrome, right? The things that this journey will bring up in you. And so it's beautiful that you can have the training, you can have the roadmap so you can get where you need to go faster, no trial and error, but also so that you can ask questions and get personalized feedback, tailored coaching to you and your situation. So if you are in the middle of a job search, if you think you would like support, I invite you to check out Find Your Job Joy. I'll put a link below, but at the very least, getting support in terms of an accountability buddy or a mentor. It makes all the difference, because the worst thing is to feel alone when we're on this big job search journey. And then finally, the mantra, the reminder I want to tell you. It's very similar to dating. So much of job search is like dating, right? And if you think back to when you were dating, or maybe you're dating now, right? And you think you find the perfect person. They fit all the things you need, your personalities mesh, right? They are your dream partner. And yet it doesn't work out. They don't choose you to. What I would tell you in a dating situation is that they can't be your dream person, no matter how perfect they are. By definition, they're not your dream person because they didn't choose you, right? By definition, your dream partner, your perfect partner, they choose you. They see your value, right? It's the same thing in job search. Maybe the stakes are a little lower. We're not talking about marriage, but still the same idea holds true. If you find a job that is the dream job and you work so hard and you get so close, and in the end, they tell you they went with someone else, I do not want you to feel defeated. What I want you to do is, number one, to see that the fact that you got so excited about this role, that's actually a good sign. This is proof that what you want is out there, because there's not just one job, right? So it is proof of all the opportunities, all the options to come. Number two, I want you to remind yourself, if it was the job for me, if it was the job I was meant to have, if it was my dream job, if you even use that phrase, by definition, they would hire me. They would see my value, right? You show up, you did your best, you positioned yourself. If they say no, then I want you to trust that it means that something better is headed your way. This is preparing you for what is coming, for what is better. And you might even be avoiding, big problems. I can tell you, I have had a couple jobs where I've come this close. I remember a consulting firm sitting next to the owner at the end of a day of interviews, and he told me, "You have the job. Expect an offer." He told the owner of this firm told me, and I never heard anything. I thought they ghosted me. I found out months later that they were going through a buyout and they had to stop communication with everyone outside. And there were some other things going on with this firm that it might not have been the best fit for me to join it. I missed a mistake. And then there was another company years later that I was talking to. And again, I had a connection with the CMO. She basically told me she was going to hire me. I left a consulting job thinking I pretty much had this in line. And then that person, that contact, she became CEO somewhere else, and they started the whole hiring process all over again. I didn't get the job. And then a few months later, they filed for bankruptcy. If I got that job, I probably would have been one of the first people who were laid off. And so I tell you these examples because sometimes in the moment, we are so sure that this is the job for us. But if it doesn't come through, if you've showed up, you've done your best, and the answer is still no, I want you to know, I want you to trust something better is there for you, and you are probably being saved from a bad situation, even if you can't see it in the moment. And even if it doesn't come out, like these two examples, right? I found out later, but sometimes we don't find out. So I hope this was helpful. I would love to hear, what is your number one takeaway from today's training? Let me know in the comments. Is it about having irons in the fire? Is it about how you see rejection as feedback? Is it about the need to really look at your mindset and see rejection as part of the path? Tell me what really spoke to you. And of course, if there's anything else that you want me to share on my channel, any other trainings, please request them, put them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you haven't already, please give this video a like, subscribe, and be sure to check the notes below for additional free resources to help you in your job search and your career. I'll see you next time.